Imagine your life at peak impact.
At peak what?
Impact.
Impact. Okay, yeah.
I want you to draw your impact at that moment.
This is me in the middle. I should explain, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Me in the middle.
Hmm.
Uh, Children, wife, if
Yeah.
possible, and my parents above.
Oh, yeah.
Top middle is a house. So
Okay.
I just want a nice house later. I
Mhm.
think explanatory, explained itself.
Yeah.
Uh, what is that? An airplane. So I love to travel.
Hmm.
So I just want to see the world,
Yeah.
Piano, self-explanatory.
Okay.
And here's a bunch of people and like a dollar above. So
Uh,
I would love to, do charitable work later too.
okay. All right. Let's unpack a little bit. In terms of like traveling, what do you like about traveling? What you know?
I love, I love seeing things. It's that simple. Especially nature. I love
Mhm.
nature, and just seeing new cultures, just different stuff.
And do you imagine yourself impacting other cultures with your piano, for example?
Not directly. Um, would be cool, obviously. Why not? But
Yeah.
it's not the first thing that would come to my mind.
What would you like to contribute to the places you travel to?
That's a tough question.
Well, think about it.
Because that wasn't the first thing that came to my mind when I when
Yeah.
I uh, wrote down the airplane.
Hmm.
I just love traveling. That's why. But that's really tough to say. I'd probably just that's hard. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know.
What would you like? It's just like it's a simple, wouldn't it be cool if,
I,
like,
I probably, if I was just traveling normally, just
mm,
um yeah, also just donating money here and there.
mhm.
Like that's probably the first thing that I would do if I was in another country.
Like just so the charity and the traveling kind of go hand in hand, where you're like, uh, like collaborating, because
Yeah,
think about like just performance at the highest level, right? You go and you enjoy another country's culture, right?
yeah,
Wouldn't it be great if you were like received by that government's cultural coordinator, shown the best places and whatever, and at the end maybe you do like a fundraiser with your piano.
yeah. That would be sick, obviously. But okay, that's like okay. If you're talking that level, yeah, then sure.
Yeah, of course that level. Why not?
Yeah, yeah. No, that sounds cool. Yeah,
Because it sounds like that kind of brings everything together, right?
yeah,
Because you like traveling, you like piano, you like charities, and you like cultures, and you want all of that to kind of work together, ideally for you to live just an amazing, fulfilled life.
yeah.
So I think there's something there. What's your take on that vision?
No, that sounds really interesting. I didn't even think of that. Like zero.
Mhm.
Didn't come to my mind at all. I just thought of different stuff that I like to do, but I didn't think of like combining them. That was that wasn't in my head at all. But that sounds that sounds pretty sick.
It sounds pretty sick. All right. What opportunities do you want to try? So let's say you're there, right? Uh, you've reached this point where you're crushing. You're like world renowned. People love your piano. Uh, Rich people love donating money to hear your piano, right? Uh, you kind of are known for this charitable, cultural kind of fusion, right? At that point in time, what is the best opportunity that can come knocking at your door? Like phone call from someone or a deal or some kind of event, collaboration. What would that be?
Yeah, I think you've said it before already. It's like would be really sick if hey, yo, Besim, hold a
Mm,
concert and
mm,
we'll donate all the revenue, something like that, for
mhm.
example.
Amazing. Uh, what is your proudest moment?
My proudest moment?
Mhm,
Oh, that is like in my entire life, you mean?
mhm,
I think probably, yeah, probably when I got my how do you say it in German? I don't know. I was in high school and I finished high
mhm.
school and I got
Diploma?
my yeah, sort of diploma,
Mhm,
and that on that diploma, how do you call it? Like it's like this where the people come together and you sort
mhm.
of
Graduation?
yeah, graduation ceremony. That's what it's
Mhm,
called. I played piano there in front of
mhm.
like
Yeah.
everyone, like what 600 people or something,
Mhm.
and I think that was pretty cool. That was pretty sick.
Yeah, I love it. Do you have a second proudest moment?
Might be recency bias, but everything that's happened so far with X, that's really insane. So
Yeah,
that might be the second one, but yeah.
I love it.
Let me stick with that one. Yeah,
Yeah, it's good. It's great. Is there a third one? Can I push for a third one?
the third one
Hmm. Maybe something from childhood. Like, is there like a thing that comes out before high school that pops up?
probably if I had to pick,
Hmm.
um, the the moment that I got accepted into the high school that I was well accepted in.
Hmm. It was like a prestigious high school.
Not prestigious, but there's like this program where, well, in Germany,
Hmm.
usually you switch from what do you call it? Not middle, because we have like high school and one like
Primary school or like middle
primary
school?
school. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have no middle school in
Uh,
in that sense.
yeah, so it's just primary,
Um,
secondary. Yeah.
yeah, uh, and usually in Germany you switch to high school after sixth. What do you
Mhm.
call it?
Great.
Sixth grade. Yeah,
Hmm.
and there's like some schools that offer like uh, the option of switching after the fourth.
Hmm.
So some high schools have like special classes for
Hmm.
fifth and sixth grade,
Hmm.
and I switched after the fourth grade, and that was
Uh,
pretty cool.
I love that. And what's your story?
My story. So, and what dimension are we speaking?
In the dimension of life, like what do you think your life is telling? Like what story is your life telling?
I think I've always been the quiet kid.
Hmm.
Um, I had this like this we just just when I ate breakfast earlier
Hmm.
with my parents, this like came up because they usually like they ask a lot of stuff and I give like basic answers. I don't like to
Hmm.
brag or anything,
Hmm.
and they always compared with the moment where in third grade
Hmm.
they asked me like, "Yo, who's the best in your class?" And I was
Hmm.
like, 'cause I was a child, I was like
Hmm.
me because I was like,
Hmm.
I had the best grades and stuff,
Hmm.
and they were like, "Yeah, no way, right?"
Yeah.
Not because they didn't believe me, but because I
Hmm.
was like, I said it so casually,
Uh-huh.
and I think that's like the type of person that I am. I don't like to brag. I
Hmm.
I love doing stuff and I love talking about it, but
Hmm.
it's not something that it's almost never something that I would brag about.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's what describes it.
I love it. So you're like the quiet kid that crushes, but you let the work like kind of speak for itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh. I love it. And everything's nonchalant. I love it. Like just calm. Yeah, of course I'm the best.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love it. Do you think that speaks to like a bigger story that is like untold or like a gap or something? Or is it like a
Ooh,
legacy of like people before you that you're inspired from? Like, where did you get this from? Like, or where did you value this?
I don't think I got it from anyone, to be honest. I think it's
Mhm.
just the type of person that I am. I think I was,
Mhm.
sounds weird, but born this way, you know?
Yeah. I know, but
I think
what when did you embrace it? Like, did you see someone that was like that, and you were like, I'm gonna stick with this. This is cool.
I really, it sounds, might sound weird, but I don't really think there was anyone like that ever. I
Hmm.
think I didn't ever think about it, you know?
Yeah,
I just, I was always like the person that I am, just,
I
living
love it.
life. It's hard to say.
But who's your influences? Like, who are your heroes? Like, who do you look up to, or like, your
Well, my
parents? You
father,
said obviously, yeah, your father. Like, what does your father do?
it's a long story. I don't think
Yeah,
I can unpack it all, but
yeah, but like, what about
just
him do you love?
his commitment,
He's like that. He's
like
like
just
committed.
working his ass off for the family.
I love. And what are your superpowers?
I think my biggest superpower is that if I really want to commit myself to something, like with 100%, I get it done, you know?
Hmm.
Because like with playing piano, for example, no one said to me, "Yo, why don't you
Hmm.
play? Why don't you learn?" I mean, like I just taught it to myself, and it's been going pretty well. And the same with like X, for example. I told myself, okay, I'm gonna do this,
Hmm.
and I think when I commit myself to something 100%,
Hmm.
I I just have to get it done. Not that I get it done, but I have to get it done. You know?
Hmm. You're like, you have like an obsession.
Yeah. Yeah. That fits perfectly.
All right. So now I'm not going to go too much into the business stuff, but I want you to think about it a little bit. So I'm going to ask you some
Sure.
questions.
Yeah.
Let's say we took that vision and kind of made it into something you're doing today. You are doing it today, which is something I'm very uh, proud. Maybe it's not the best word, but I am proud that you are doing it, because you're
Yeah.
like, hey, my dream is to make some cool shit and donate to charity. And
Yeah.
you are doing that. Like, a community forest is that,
Yeah.
right?
True.
Uh, and just for the sake of this kind, because I really think community forest, you're leaving a little bit too early. So for this next couple of questions, I want you to think about community forest because it's a real thing. This performance thing, vision is, I wish you take it real. Like, I wish you would hold a fundraiser event in the next 3 months if you can. Like, organize it. Say, hey guys, I'm gonna play piano. My friend is gonna play cello. Whatever. We
Yeah.
make an event, book a spot, uh, raise money, use the money to pay whatever your costs, and then donate the rest to charity. I think the sooner you do this, the better you'll be at it.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
And make an event, make a party, have fun. Have some food, cater. And the whole thing. Like, we're not gonna get into that because it's still like kind of like very early idea.
Yeah.
But I hardly recommend you do it just to get it. Even in your college. Hey guys, in your you probably have concert space in your college. You can book it. You can bring students together. You can talk to the music department. Have hey, you got some people that are fun to listen to, doing some
Yeah.
cool shit, and you can do. Definitely try to do that. But for the next couple of questions, I want to focus on community forest a little bit,
Yeah.
just so you kind of get this sequence of thinking so you can apply it to whatever idea you have, right? So with community forest, what is the pitch? What is the offer as a customer? What am I getting? Go.
It's mainly two things. So when you get a tree,
Mhm.
you get like this permanent manifestation of yourself on the forest, and so you can show yourself basically, and you get to support the environment. That's the two things. That's the two main things.
I'm gonna push a little further because you've been pitching the backlink stuff, like the value proposition of it.
Yeah.
Right. Why did you leave that out?
Because at the moment it's not the most impactful one.
But it was part of your pitch.
That is true, yes.
Yeah,
but I am slowly switching it up, though. Not switching it up, but I'm slowly transitioning away from that. That's what I mean.
Okay. I would not. I would keep building backlinks to your website from other places. High domain authority, like talk to PR people. Hey, I'm doing this community thing. Go to charity websites, go whatever. You can blow this up way bigger. Like, you were like, oh, when I commit to something, I want to be the best at it, and I do it, and I get obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I would also highly recommend you make that the goal for the end of the year, is to make this the biggest software charity fun event the internet has ever seen.
Say
Because
so?
yeah, 100%, bro. 100%. Just motivate yourself, pay yourself. Like I told you, like I think the $12 a tree, and then increments of 12, even 15. You give 10, you plant it, buy a tree, plant a tree. Buy a tree on the digital thing, plant a tree on the digital thing, and the $5 is I'm giving you visibility to people that you wouldn't otherwise get. I'm giving you access to the community of all of these people. I'm giving you a backlink. This, as the domain authority grows, that's my commitment. I'm going to build the domain authority. As that grows, your backlink gets stronger. All of these are where the $5 for you go. Right? So
Yeah, okay, makes
$15
sense.
increments. Yeah, $15 increments, and just, get on it. Like, make it better. Make the collision thing. You can't go underneath the forest, right?
Yeah.
And just have fun with it. Like, do the Ghibli thing, do the animations, the forest starts moving. Give people reason to go back to the forest.
Yeah.
Like me, I go back to the forest because I'm just curious, right? But make it a goal for every person who bought a tree to go back and mess around at least once or twice.
Yeah.
Right? So that's that. How did you get your first sale? Like, when was the first time you sold the tree? Who did you sell it to?
Well, the first real sale, I would say, because, well, obviously Robin and Joshua got their own pretty early. I made the pitch video, and like I said it in the YouTube video too. I think like 15 minutes later, Zayas, I don't know if you know, it's like Zeus Insights, he's called.
Yeah. I like Zeus.
Yeah, he got his own tree.
Yeah.
That was like 15 or 20 minutes in. Well, it did help that Robin and I think Joshua too posted about it, but
Yeah.
that was, I think, that was the first sale. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Zeus. I love it. And if you're thinking about like who this target market is right now and who it could be, like profile that person psychologically. What do they have going on? What do they want? What's their goal? Why would they engage?
Well, right now it's people that are active on X and that build something. That's like the bubble that I'm targeting right now, and I can definitely expand that. So, because the problem, for example, right now is someone wants to get a tree, but he has to link his X handle, which is kind of weird. If for example, I have been posting on Reddit quite a bit, like these past weeks, and let's say you see my post there, and you don't have X though at all. You can't get a tree because my website doesn't allow for someone to not link an X.
Yeah, so that's something you can work on You
Yeah.
can fix today,
Yeah,
bro.
definitely.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah,
But the
because once you expand that market, who then your market becomes? Like, because if I can just put a link, like a website link,
yeah,
instead of like an X link, right? Uh, who does that market then become? Like, who would be interested in? Because maybe you have like the indie hacker community forest. Maybe you make different forests.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like
I mean, I think this can expand to basically anyone who wants to just show something,
yeah,
like be it a profile anywhere or a website or
yeah.
whatever it might be. Just
Is there
so
a
there's
way
pretty much
to
no
generate like
limitation.
unique trees? Because that would be great if each tree was different. Because a big motivator in business, in human psychology, right? Like the happiness chemicals I like to anchor most of behavior to, and endorphins. You know, that's exercise. Skip that one. But oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine are like
Yeah,
the three happy chemicals other than endorphins, right? And oxytocin is built with loyalty. Like if
yeah,
you're building an alliance with someone and progressing that alliance, your body releases oxytocin, right? And so that's one vector of product design is how do you build like a lot of these network effect things are built on that. Like how do you connect people and then have that connection grow? You know, you don't want to just connect people. You
yeah,
want them to start investing in each other, right? So that's one game you can play to make something more viral, right? Then there's serotonin, which is status, and you're doing that very well with your thing, like the big tree. You know, like oh
yeah,
look at me, I got the big tree, I got the special avatar. And a thing of status is showing status, right? Like you buy a Rolls Royce Phantom, you you want to show up to it someplace, right? You
yeah,
don't want to just drive it in private and nobody knows who it belongs to, right?
yeah,
So that status is people respecting you by what they see, right? You know, you build a cool project, you get status, right? Uh, that's one vector you can play with product design. And the last one is dopamine, which is the feeling of progress towards a goal. It's not achievement of the goal. That's why everybody's like, "Oh, I achieved the goal and I feel like shit." Because
yeah,
achieving a goal, there's no happiness in it unless you convert it into status,
yeah,
right? Which is a part that a lot of people miss and kind of look down on, but it's just part of your chemistry. You know, it's smart to just optimize for it, right? But progress towards a goal. So understanding people's goals and then giving them milestones and things and feeling that, oh, damn, I'm making progress. I'm getting better. That's why learning is amazing because you learn, you learn. You're like, oh my God,
yeah,
I'm getting better. I'm getting towards something, right? Uh, so when you're thinking about all those three things, right? How would you implement that with the indie hacker community if you want to just like focus there? Like, what can you do to start building more alliances within community force? Like, what's the badge you can get? Same thing with status. You don't have to answer these questions because these are like it takes days and weeks to
yeah,
come up with a good answer and implement it. But just to put it on your radar, right?
yeah,
Uh, so if we're focusing on these indie hackers, right? Uh, a good way to think about it is in extremes. You know, who is the extreme version of this? A good story of this is, do you know the what's it called? Damn it, I forget the name of the company, but it's like a company that was made. It'll come to me. Uh, the founder's wife had arthritis.
yeah.
Okay, and he made these like kitchen utensils that are arthritis friendly. You know, so the handles are bigger. I'll find it for you right now. Ergonomic kitchenware company. Um, Oxo, Oxo Good Grips.
Never heard of it.
It's multi-billion dollar company. insane,
Okay.
like huge company. And his wife had arthritis, and the whole philosophy was, I'm gonna make kitchen utensils for my wife to use, so it doesn't hurt her hands.
Yeah.
But it's an extreme use case. But that extreme use case kind of hit everybody because everybody wants comfortable grips. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, true.
So, is there like an analogous example in the indie hacker community?
Ooh. Like, and like for community forest, you mean?
Mhm.
I have no idea, to be honest. Like,
Keep it on your radar.
yeah,
And another good target market to think about are like the connoisseurs and tastemakers, and having their blessing. And you kind of did that with like the Mark Lou head and
yeah,
Jack Tricks and all of that. Like everybody like respects those people, and having them involved kind of boosts the project. So that's another like vector to kind of think about. And then y- another strategy in target marketing is to think about bulk sales. Can you hit a group and sell 100 at a time? Can you think of
yeah.
like something like that?
I think probably if I make the change to like where everybody can link anything, not
Mhm.
just their X profile, I think then I might be able to realize something like that. But I think in the state that where it's right now, it's much more difficult.
For sure. Yeah, your product is not your product today. It's the fully manifested version of it, right?
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, accelerators, I think, like if you want to just target entrepreneurs, right? You can hit an accelerator and every batch can have a small forest with all their things, right?
yeah,
Stuff like that would be cool. Business clubs, you can do like instead of one tree, you plant like a batch of trees, and you can name everybody in the thing. It's just something to think about. Um, what are the pains that your products are solving for these people? Like, what are the pain? Like, why would someone want to buy a tree? What is the pain they're feeling?
I think solving a pain is not the main point why people get their trees on the website. I think it's, I mean, obviously you do get like some form of advertisement in the end. That's like
But that's
if
not
you
a pain.
had, yeah, exactly, exactly. That's what I mean. So it's like it doesn't really solve a
But
pain point in
but
that
that
way.
is naive. Like every action anybody takes, whether you want to admit it or not, you want to do some, whatever fairy tale thinking. Every action somebody does is motivated by some sort of pain.
Well, then probably the fear of missing out. It's a FOMO.
Okay, fear of missing out is one. Uh, what is that underlying pain of FOMO, specifically in?
Well, that's everybody has a tree and you don't,
And why would I want everybody to see that I have a tree?
because it means you. Good question. Probably because it means that you're aware of stuff that is trendy and and so on.
So I want to. So the status thing. It's like I have a desire to show my status. I'm not getting
Yeah,
enough status fulfillment. Would you agree?
probably. Yeah,
Yeah. It's these things, I know they're like kind of like ew, I don't want to think about these things, but it is so core to business. Because if you can't articulate what that is, and it doesn't have to be in like a disgusting way. It's just, hey, people want more status. That's fine. That is like a human need.
yeah,
Like some, whatever. Kanye West and whatever make it seem that it's egomaniac and crazy, and maybe that form is ill, but there is like a healthy medium where you can play with and make money on, because that's what people pay money for. Like, this is not fear of missing out, just that you go and you click and you get a tree. Like, there's money involved, there's money exchange.
yeah.
Uh, all right. Is there anything like this that you've seen?
What do you mean?
So this category, like the first thing that comes to my mind is the Peter Levels thing, where he had these like monuments that you can sponsor. He just
Yeah,
sold them for insane money.
I think the $1 million homepage. You know it?
Hmm.
That's probably the closest thing.
Yeah, $1 million homepage, and definitely the Levels thing. And how's yours different from Levels?
Well, I don't
Uh,
really know much about the levels thing, but
oh, you don't know his like airplane simulator game?
uh, yeah, I know the game. But yeah, but now that you said it, I know what you mean. But
Hmm.
um,
Yeah, it's
I
almost
think
like it's almost exactly the same because he just
yeah,
sold sponsorships instead of your lean where it's more community based and whatever.
yeah,
Uh, but in terms of the mechanism and the space it occupies, like in terms of like solving a status pain, because he had the FOMO too. Like people bought what was it, $25,000 sponsorships because they wanted to be part of the early hype of this
yeah.
vibe coding game situation. So what
I think
is
it's the game like aspect that he has, which differentiates it from
no? How's
my.
yours different from him? Not how's his
Oh,
different from
okay.
yours?
Well, I mean, mine is charitable.
Okay.
That's like the first thing, and I mean, okay, well, it's trees and not buildings. That's like probably the second thing, but it's
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
But well, I don't know how exactly it looks the building, so I can't really tell if there's a
You're thinking
difference.
more technical. I'm trying to get you to think more from the customer side. It's community driven. It's called community
Yeah,
forest. So like
yeah, true.
with there was kind of a community angle where like you can play together. It's like MMO.
Yeah,
But with yours, the intention in the beginning was community. It wasn't even chat.
yeah, true.
Um, and that's an angle that you can think about. Bring more. And yours is also like the backlink thing, the SEO stuff. I think that's a good positioning. Like with the multi-million-dollar homepage, was there a backlink or was it just a logo and a
It
pixel?
was just the pixels,
Okay,
nothing more.
yeah. Uh, what is the magic trick? So a magic trick. Uh, have you seen Magnific.ai?
Magnific.ai?
Yeah. Do you have a computer in front of you?
Yeah.
Or I can share my screen. Let me share my
Okay.
screen real quick. Time screen. All right, can you see my screen?
I can see it, yes.
All right. So Magnific has this little thing right here, right? Before or after. And
Okay, yeah, I think yeah, this I've seen, yeah.
it's like a magic trick. You're like, wow, that's what it
I'm
does.
not sure if I've seen this like this idea of like where you could slide it across, but I don't know if it was this
But it's not.
website.
It's not the slide was not the point. The point is, in one stroke, I know what the thing does.
Yeah,
It takes something computer enhanced and it does computer enhanced.
yeah.
That's what Magnific does. The image upscaler, transformer, generate. Feels like magic. So the point here is, in your situation, what is the one trick or the one thing that people can see visually that it'll connect with them? They're like, hell yeah, I need to treat it right there. I need to be part of this community.
I think right now it's probably seeing all the other trees that are already there. That's probably the one thing that I would say.
Hmm.
Meaning that it's working, you know?
Hmm. Yeah,
And
the
yeah,
tree forest view.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's good insight to think about like that because now you're like thinking about, oh dang, this needs to look good. Like there needs to be like some sort of forest view that I can stick on a landing page. if you're ever going to do a landing page, that makes it like, oh wow, this is what I can be a part of, and you just click on and go, plant a tree now. Like definitely a landing page can help a lot because it can explain a lot of this value proposition and get people,
true.
because
In general, I agree, but I found it a bit difficult to apply to my case, because it's like it's this fun project, and having a landing page would make it so serious,
yeah, for sure. But there's an evolution. Like right now,
Yeah.
it's a fun project, but like once you start thinking about how can I sell it to whatever, let's see what the biggest tree planting nonprofit. What's the one you use?
One tree planted.
One tree planted. Right, one tree planted. Just to tell you, endowment size. Does not publicly disclose the size of the endowment. In 20, the report receiving over $30 million in donation, which
Yeah.
they used to plant over 23.5 million trees, and that was in 2021. And the expenses, okay, they're losing money. Their expenses is 70 million, but you can be part of those losing money expense. They can buy your shit for like whatever, 500 grand. Either you think you can get that nice house, or $1 million, you can get
Yeah.
that nice house.
True.
And already, and you can do that by the end of the year by taking it seriously. You're like, oh, serious, yeah, take it seriously. By the end of the year, you can have an asset you can sell.
Yeah.
To build on this momentum, because you already have momentum. For you to be like, fuck this, and not use that momentum to get more PR, to get more whatever, to get more whatever. I see, you're free to do, no judgment. I'm just telling you that
Yeah.
it is an opportunity you have in your hands right now. What's the quality factors that I'm going to be judging this donation by?
The donation.
Donation, purchase, whatever, however you want to frame it. Like for me to get a tree, what what am I judging? Like what are the quality dimensions?
Well, that's difficult. Well, probably how visible is my tree?
Hmm.
Um, I think that's the most important one. How visible is my tree? Because that's what matters in the end. But
Yeah, how visible my tree is. How do you think you're ranking on that right now? In the beginning, it was perfect, right? But right now, it's kind of like a little crowded. You think you're crushing it on that?
I mean, I think it does give the people more reason to get bigger trees. So I think in that way it makes sense the way it is
Yeah.
right now. But yeah,
But even the big trees, I don't see them at first glance, right? I gotta like kind of pivot and try to see who does that tree belong to, right? Or
yeah,
you can just click the tree. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of like UX, right? Like if something is clickable from the desktop, there has to be like some sort of hover state.
What do you mean by that?
Like for you to know something is clickable in UX, right?
Yeah,
In the desktop, especially because there's no hover state on the phone.
yeah.
But in the desktop, if you hover on a button, there's usually a hover state. Like
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, no. Yeah.
so with the trees, I think you can give them a hover state. Like it maybe sways a little bit if you hover your mouse on it.
Yeah, I've thought about that too, but to be honest, I didn't come up with a good solution for that.
Yeah, even like
I
just
haven't come up with
highlighting
that
this,
yet.
yeah, maybe just make it a little brighter or increase the exposure
Yeah,
or something. I don't know. Make it more reflective. I don't know
yeah.
how the 3D stuff works. Is it like fully 3D like Blender or
It's.
Cinema for what's it? Cinema 4K? Cinema
I
Max?
mean, I use. So
Mm,
that's interesting. I use 3JS for it.
mhm.
It's like this the framework or library, or I don't know what you'd
Yeah,
call it. Um, there's the basic trees that you see,
yeah,
they are like directly generated in my code, and
yeah.
the other types of trees, like the cherry tree, for example,
No.
those I downloaded the model of it from a license free
Mhm.
model website. So I didn't model anything myself. So
I know, but the lighting and all of that is like Cinema 4D, where you can have the light source and night and day and all of that. Or
I haven't looked that much into it, but it's configurable in the code. So I got
yeah, yeah.
like, because I generated like the basic 3D logic I generated
Mhm,
with AI. So
mhm,
I didn't look that much into it, but
mhm.
it's configurable. So you
Um,
can adjust the lighting and stuff. So yeah.
yeah, the code generated like trees, like definitely I think are cool, and like you can take it in a further direction if you
Yeah.
figure out, kind of how to randomly generate artifacts or something on it. But yeah, so the visibility, I think you do a good job with the visibility. You see people's names, you click the tree, it pops up. Navigation, I
Yeah.
think, is a big quality factor, like navigating through the
Yeah. True.
forest.
True. Yeah. Before it was really difficult without the drone like movement, but I think since I added that, it's been much better.
Yeah, navigating the forest. Uh, yeah, and I think also like if you're going to the community angle, you do like 179, 100% donated. Maybe you can. Oh, you say 435 donated. That's cool. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. I need to change that even because I made the second donation just earlier today.
right. Well, yeah, definitely the name of the organization, where's the money going, is a quality factor, and then maybe the quality of the backlink itself in terms of
Yeah.
SEO.
No, that's for sure some stuff that I can still, like a lot of stuff that I can still change.
What is the most genius artist for you?
The most genius artist.
Yeah.
Ooh. Do you specifically for piano, you mean?
Whatever art means to you.
I mean, if I'm talking art, I'm thinking like, music or whatever. So there's like there's some pianists that I really, well, not look up to. I mean, sort of, yeah, if it comes to piano, but
Like admire, like what do you admire about them?
yeah.
Who are they? What do they do that you're like amazing?
Well, there's one guy that I love listening to. Yeah, he's like a Korean called like, I can't pronounce it, but
How do you spell it?
his what? Yes, I mean it's like Song Jin Cho or something,
Song Jin Show.
and I love the because um, every piece can be played really differently,
Yeah.
and I love the way he plays many of the pieces that I like. So that's
What
something
what
I.
what feeling does it ignite? Like, what is the emotion he's putting behind the play?
I mean, it
How
depends
does
on
he
the
express
piece.
it? Yeah, but how does he accept? How does he elevate the piece? Like, if it's a, because I know like in classical, there's like these like wartime pieces, like like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
How is he expressing that nicer? What twist is he adding?
I think that's really difficult to explain. I think he plays very authentically,
Hmm.
but still has his own touch, if you can say so, and just very precise playing. So that's what I love, and it's very, very, very soothing to listen to. Like compared to other people playing the same piece. That's what I mean.
Hmm. So he adds like a calm to it, or like a harmony,
It,
or like a
it very
grace.
much depends on the piece. It's like very. It's not
What's
easy
your
to
favorite piece? Like,
generalize
what
it.
what is something that you listen to over and over again?
Well, when it comes to piano, there's like Chopin. Yeah, heard of
Yeah,
him?
I like
Yeah,
Chopin.
I like a lot of his pieces, and it's like a different range from calm to too aggressive, too, you know, too.
And I'm familiar with his nocturnes. Like
Yeah,
how does he
his
play
nocturnes,
them?
for example,
Yeah.
he he plays them. There's one nocturne that I really like, and he plays really controlled. So there's an end part where it goes kind of crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and most people just bat the keys, like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really, he keeps it controlled, and because that end part, that's like 2 minutes long,
Mm-hmm.
and most people just keep it like really loud for the
Mm-hmm.
entire 2 minutes, and he just slowly scales it up, you know.
Mm-hmm. He
So
makes it like
that's,
into like a journey.
yeah, and that's, for example, what I really like.
Which piece is this? Like which nocturne?
It's Opus 48, number 1. That's the number.
All right.
He played it at like, that's like the best recording that I found from him yet.
Yeah.
At a competition, like it's a Chopin competition. It's like the best competition there is, or like the most
Mm.
important one. And there he played it really well. Like that's the recording that I like most.
Okay. I love it. There's a movie called Spartacus. It's an old movie. Have you seen that movie?
Well, I know some things about it, but I don't think I've seen it, or I don't remember seeing it.
Uh, so there's the scene where so Spartacus is like gladiator slash
Yeah,
slave uh, that freed all the gladiators and raised an army against the Romans.
yeah,
Uh, but tragically, he lost the battle and they all got captured,
yeah,
right? And in this movie, there's the scene where the Roman general or whatever says, he addresses the army and says, "Reveal to me who is Spartacus, and we will spare your lives."
yeah,
So Spartacus goes to reveal himself, but then his friend steps forward and says, "I am Spartacus." And
yeah,
then another person in the army says, "I am Spartacus." And there's this whole movement where all of them,
yeah.
"I'm Spartacus." Right? Great scene. What is and they're all, happy to give their life to
Yeah,
this value of freedom. Uh,
yeah.
what is that for you? Like, what is the I am Besim moment? Like, what do you stand for that people are also passionate about, or your people are passionate
Well, that's a really interesting question. Wait,
about? Mhm.
something I would like really like give my life for, or
Yeah, but figuratively, or right? Like
yeah.
if you dedicate your life until the day you die to something, it's kind of the same thing, right?
Oh, that's something I've never thought about. Wait. Well, what would that be for you?
This is a workshop about you, but I would answer. Uh, for me, it's definitely uh, learning and teaching. Both those things,
Yeah,
like I'm very passionate about. I'm very passionate about mastery. If someone was like, "Oh, you know, we will eliminate mastery from life, from all curriculums. No one's allowed to be a master." Like that is something I would fight for.
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? And showing young people the way is something I'm extremely passionate about. Like I that's where the teaching comes in, where it's like if I had the opportunity to go to every 10-year-old or 12-year-old and say, "Bro, fuck school, you know, pick something you love and be a master," because that would unlock everything you want in life.
Yeah,
Because material stuff, like you're like, "Oh, I want financial freedom." That is not a hard goal. Being a master of something is hard goal, but just getting to financial freedom, that's not the goal.
yeah. No, makes sense. I think you could apply mastery to me too, but I wouldn't like just for the sake, because you said it already.
Mhm.
Uh, I think family and culture is something that
Mhm.
I very much stand for, I guess you could say.
What about culture and family animates you so much?
I think well, I would combine the two because where my parents come from, it's like a
Mhm.
very like the people there uh, value family and well and culture well,
Mhm.
well value both of them very much compared to, for example, in Germany where I'm right now.
Mhm.
So if you know what I mean.
Mhm. Yeah, but like what about your culture do you love that you're like, hey, this needs to survive?
The how do you say it in English? So um, for you come to me as a guest, and I
Hospitality?
offer you, yeah, hospitality, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That,
Like
for
that's
example, is something I
yeah,
really love.
about the Albanian culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what about it does is worth fighting for though? Like why would you think like if someone was like, hey, you know what? Cultures are lame. We should all be one culture. Yeah. Uh we're not allowed to have differences in culture. What about that proposition makes you angry?
Well, that would probably mean that us Albanians, for example, we would lose our identity.
Okay.
So that's, I think, something that's very fightable for.
And you believe in every culture having their own identity? Like is it your culture or is it the mix of culture? Like what about culture specifically is excites you or animates you or
Well, I think that's what makes the world so fun. It's like
Mhm.
these different cultures. Every culture is different. Every I mean, in the end, every human is different. So this, you go somewhere, you learn something new. That's what I love about it.
And who are these like cultural icons for you? Even mastery icons. Like you said, mastery is also something you're passionate about. Like who are these icons that are like they did it, like they lived that life.
Well, for mastery, for a piano example, for
Mhm.
example, the like Song Jin Cho, for example.
Tangential, yeah. And is there anything about his culture that you're inspired by, like the Korean culture, maybe their approach to mastery or something like?
Yeah, they're very disciplined. So I think
Mhm.
that's one thing, but it's not like it's not that I like him because he's Korean, It's like I
Mhm.
like him because he's him.
So it's more of like individuality, like the expression
Yeah, in that
of
case, yes.
yeah. So you've seen Batman, right? And there's
I haven't seen it.
you do you know about it? You know about it.
Yeah,
Okay. So in Batman, there's the bat signal, right? They shine
yeah,
a little spotlight in
yeah. I
the
know that.
sky,
Yeah,
and that means uh crime is taking place and we need your help, Batman.
yeah,
Batman shows up and saves the day.
yeah.
What is the bat signal equivalent for your personal brand? Like what is the thing that you see in the wild that you're like, hey, it's Besim time. Get the best mobile.
That is also really hard to say. But I think it's probably, I mean, probably something piano related to. It's probably the one thing that I love most.
Mhm.
Uh, it's like when people talk about piano, it's like I need to take part in this conversation.
Mhm. What do you like discussing with piano? Like technique? That's
Or anything. So,
anything. Yeah.
about the instrument itself. This brand, for example, makes really good pianos, or
Mhm.
technique, or pieces, or whatever, or recordings of someone. Like with Robert, for example, I motivated him to start learning piano.
Mhm.
So Um, a lot of times we just start like he tells me how his lesson went because he has a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really fun to talk about it with him.
Mm-hmm.
So just all the stuff like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
check out this recording. Like we send each
Mm-hmm.
other like YouTube videos really often of like recordings, and it's really cool.
Uh, so why would anyone want to wear a hat with that kind of, if you packaged all of that up, right? Besim and everything he stands for: mastery, piano, charity, software, all of that. You distilled it into like a logo. Why would
Yeah,
anyone want to wear a hat with that logo on?
I mean probably because they like what that stands for. That's like
What?
that
Yeah,
reason.
exactly. And what does that logo stand for?
Well, the things that you just said. So
But what does it say about me? Like it says, who's the person that is animated by piano, software, culture, identity, discipline.
I would say a hardworking
Uh-huh.
person, a well, not basic, but like in the end, that's not like the how do I say this? I mean, just working hard and wanting to learn an instrument is not something that's like crazy out of this world, right? So, and that in that sense, it's basic, and just just had that thought, but I just forgot. What did I say? So I said What did I say? Hard work.
Hardworking, cultured, basic in terms of like commitment to learning an instrument.
Yeah, and I probably discipline too. Then
Mhm.
because you need discipline to commit yourself to something like learning an instrument.
Mhm. So if you're going to describe that brand in 6 words, what would it be?
Work hard and
Mhm.
stay disciplined always. Was probably
Okay. I like your beginning. Work hard every day towards mastery.
yeah for that. Yeah, probably
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay. Now the second piece of paper. I want you to imagine your life at peak impact, and I want you to draw your impact at that moment. Hmm.
It's just so I took like before where I'd like myself and
Hmm.
future like children and
Hmm.
wife, and I
Hmm.
expanded it. Well, I still have those, but I
Hmm.
expanded it to the culture as well,
Hmm.
and that's like if we're just speaking like influence and impact, I think that's probably it. Just being there for my family and my culture, like my people, the people around that I have, because everything else is not related to impact. Like
Hmm.
playing piano, that doesn't really connect with impact directly.
It does. It does, bro. What's his name? What's his name?
Sangjin Show, yeah.
Sung Jin Show impacted you with his piano.
Yeah, true.
You impacted your high school class with piano.
Well, yeah, true. You're right.
You impacted Robin with your piano.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like,
Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm good. Yeah. No, you're right. Let me add that.
hell, I love it.
See, it's stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, I love it. You on the piano. I like that you included yourself on the piano this time.
True. Last time I had just the piano. You're right.
That's it, bro.